You may have seen my recent segment of The Other Mac where I talk about AI slop, but little did I know that at the time the groundwork was being laid for one of the most unusual slop stories I've come across so far. You may have heard of the band The Velvet Sundown. No, not the Velvet Underground, which the name seems to be purposely evocative of, but The Velvet Sundown, and how in just a few weeks they amassed over 1 million listens on their two almost simultaneously released albums on Spotify. Now, some people thought this was kind of strange, given there is absolutely no record of the band ever having performed anywhere, and the band's images looked very much like they were AI generated. In fact, Rick Beato, one of the best musical follows on YouTube, by the way, he then analyzed their music and concluded that it was almost certainly all AI generated as well. Now, the band's social media accounts initially pushed back on these accusations, saying they were lazy and baseless. However, not long after that, a man using the pseudonym Andrew Frelin told Rolling Stone that he was behind the band and that he used Suno AI music software to create the music, and that the whole thing was what he called an art hoax. As a musician, I was not impressed, but I left it at that for the moment, until the Velvet Sundown social media accounts claimed that Andrew Frelin had absolutely nothing to do with the band and that his connection was the real hoax. And apparently they were right, as Frelin subsequently admitted that his involvement was just a social engineering experiment and that he did indeed have nothing at all to do with the band. At that point, under increasing scrutiny, the Velvet Sundown's account finally admitted that the band and their music is actually AI, or as they put it, quote, a synthetic music project guided by human creative direction and composed, voiced, and visualized with the support of artificial intelligence. I think support is doing a lot of hard work there. But anyway, now this is not the first time a musical act has been revealed to be AI-based, and it certainly won't be the last. But what are we to make of this kind of thing? I see three real big takeaways. One, AI music is just not very good. You may not care about whether music is created by humans or AI, but take a listen to the Velvet Sundown, and you'll hear some very mediocre music with lyrics bordering on terrible. In other words, it's totally AI slop that serves no constructive purpose other than to drown out the efforts of hardworking human musicians, who, I have to note, are making this a bit easier on AI as they get listeners increasingly comfortable listening to heavily auto-tuned and time-quantized recordings. So maybe AI music will get better, but I sincerely do not know why anyone would want it to. 2, streaming services are too easily manipulated. Whether that's manipulation by people posing as artists or manipulations by the streaming platform itself, something Spotify in particular has been accused of many times, there's something wrong when an entirely fictional band making not very good music can get 1 million listens over several weeks. Whether that's the algorithm doing stupid things or the streaming companies doing shady things, the only thing I know for sure is it's definitely not good for music or for musicians. And 3, technology is being used as a tool to compromise trust. Whether intentionally or not, this insane story shows how easily technology can be used to misrepresent things. We start with an imaginary band launching 2 AI albums that its creators swore were not AI. Then we have an unrelated third party claiming to have been in charge of the whole thing and saying it was indeed AI. And then the band's representative getting upset that someone else would dare take credit for their efforts, but then ultimately admitting that the whole thing was, yes, it was AI. This yielded stories everywhere from the Rolling Stone to the CBC, all of which play right into the original creators' hands by drawing attention to their imaginary band, which substantially increases the listens, all of which influences the streaming algorithms to give them even more prominence, and this then rewards the fraudulent and, I expect, musically talentless original creator, while most human musicians continue to struggle to make ends meet. As a musician and composer, this is a terrible sign of where things will likely go in the future of music. But even just as a human being, the whole ordeal shows how truth-averse so many people in our society are, and I think that's the real danger. I'm the other Mac. Keep it honest out there.